Hi, I'm Robert, and today I'm going to show you how to take this image of Newport Beach Back Bay from here to here, all in Lightroom. I took this image in Newport Beach Back Bay. I was shooting with my friend Mike. We had just met the week before through Instagram. At the time, we only had 100 followers each. He was the first person I met back in 2014 through Instagram, and we're still friends today. I don't know how many times we went out to shoot, but it's been a lot. Instagram was a lot different back in 2014 when I took this image. I missed that community and meeting new people. I've had a lot of great experiences through Instagram. I met a lot of people and even made a few friends. After gaining some followers on Instagram, I was offered an art show at Hotel 741 in Laguna Beach. I was also on a radio station to promote my art show. A few years after that art show, my art was being displayed in an art gallery in downtown Laguna Beach, and I ended up selling several prints from that. I have taught many one-on-one workshops at the beach, all because of Instagram. Hopefully YouTube will also open up all of these wonderful opportunities for me. Let's get started editing this image like we always do. Down at the bottom, let's make sure we're on the current version. We're going to skip vignetting for now. Let's click on Constrain Crop. We'll zoom in on the horizon because it looks a little crooked. And let's try and straighten it out. That looks a little better. It's a little tricky because there isn't a defined hard edge for the horizon line, but it looks pretty straight now. Let's move up and remove our chromatic aberrations and enable profile corrections. I shot this on a Tokina 11-16 on a Canon 40D. It's not the best camera, but I made do with it back in the day. After the 40D, I upgraded to a Nikon D750, and now I shoot with a Nikon Z6, mainly because of the video features it offers. I use that camera to produce a yoga YouTube channel. I'll link it below. Let's scroll up. Let's add our sharpening. Our standard sharpening routine is add 100, and then apply a mask. We're going to mask everywhere but the sky and the water. To bring up the mask, hold down the Alt key. Now let's scroll up, and we're going to skip the color panel for now, and we're going to go straight to the basic panel. This image is quite warm, so let's cool it down slightly, just a little bit. Now let's open up this image. Let's bring down the highlights and bring the shadows all the way up. It's still a bit dark. You can see our histograms mostly in the middle, so I want to move it to the right slightly. We'll use the exposure for that. Bring it over just a little bit. Let's check our white point and our black point. We'll bring it up until we clip, and then we'll back it down. So we can only add 10 of white point. Now let's check the blacks. Bring it down to 15. We're starting to clip, so we'll back it off to -10. There's a heavy color cast in the sky due to the filter I was using. I was using a 3-stop hard edge graduated neutral density filter. The filter I was using at the time was a high-tech filter, and it had a very severe color cast to it, especially the hard edge filter. I had a soft edge filter also that had less color cast, but it was still there. So after this photo shoot, I rarely use the hard edge filter anymore. The color cast was just too strong. These days I use high quality glass filters that don't produce any color cast. Let's go down to split toning and try and change this color a little bit. So we're going to do the highlights only, and I'm going to make them a little more orange and red. That's a starting point. We can fine tune it here. So we can adjust our hue here by sliding it up and down. So we're going to go to about here. And saturation is basically the strength. So we can bring it down and have no effect, or we can bring it up to have a severe effect. So let's bring it down till about 25. We can turn it on and off right here. So here's before and here's after. Before, we have a cool color on this ground, and then after, we warmed it up. We also had a little effect in the sky. Let's highlight the foreground in this image using the brush tool. Grab our brush tool, press down O for overlay so we can see where we're brushing, and let's brush in all of these rocks. Since we have so much color in this image, our foreground's getting kind of lost, so I'm going to bring up the texture on them. Now that we brought more emphasis to the foreground, it doesn't get lost in all of this color in the background. Let's take a look at our composition in this image. We have our horizon line on the upper third line. The sun is placed directly in the center. I also played around with the composition, placing the sun over on the right and the left, but I like the symmetry of the sun right in the middle. Let's take a look at our settings that I was using for this image. I was at 1/13 of a second at f14. I always use f14 because we have a sharp foreground and a sharp background. The shutter speed really doesn't play much of an effect on this image since we don't really have anything moving. If I used a faster shutter speed or a slower shutter speed, it would have very little effect on the way our water looks. If I was using a longer shutter speed, we just wouldn't have these small ripples in the water here. But I don't think it would really change the mood of the image very much. Be sure to check out my Instagram, Laguna Beach Secrets, and send me a message telling me you found me from YouTube. I'd like to check out your work also. Maybe I'll even edit one of your images on my show. If you would like me to edit one of your images, just send me a message. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.